Okay, we'll call a meeting to order. This is the Board of Zoning Appeals, May 8th. We'll do roll call first
David Ferguson,
here.
Jim Klepfer, Jenny Beverly, here, Helen Cronin.
Here.
Okay.
We'll have a quorum, considerations of the meeting minutes from April the 9th.
I make a motion with those minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Appointment of secretary to the BZA.
Well, I figured since I'm not here now, you probably officially should appoint somebody. You could stay.
Hearing nothing from the floor. Lynette has to run meetings.
I make a motion with appoint Sarah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? You have our condolences. And then the next,
It's a broken record.
the vacancy seat on the board. I got to recommend, or I spoke to someone. And what's his name? Fred. I talked, Fred Stillwell, sorry.
We're not very good team. are we?
No, we're not. No, we're no Batman and Robin. Talked to Fred Stillwell. He was a trustee for many years. And he's retired. And he has said he would be willing and interested. We do have, I reached out, or Warren has reached out to the Democrat Party to see if they had anybody, and when they get back with us, to see if they have anybody that might be good, then we might have a second person. But ours is just a suggestion, the commissioners have to do the appointments and the approval of that. So, I think Fred, after talking to him, I mean, he's done public service before, and he's been, being a trustee, has seen both sides of an issue and having to weigh in. And so I think he would, just what little bit of conversation I had with him, I think he'd be a good person to use. So I don't know, do we have to make a motion for Pat from the board to present to the commissioners, or we just how does that go?
I would do a motion and a resolution from the board to the commissioners recommending a certain appointment.
Okay. So there's no reason we can't give more than one if we want to go ahead and make that, to get the ball rolling with Fred, and wait to see if the Democrat Party comes up, because the person in the seat has to be a Democrat to keep everything equal. So if somebody wants to make that motion or wait, we'll do it next meeting. It's whatever the board would like to do.
Make a motion. I'll make a motion to nominate
Fred Stillwell,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed?
So I have a question on that. Now that we've nominated his name as a recommendation, do we go ahead and send a letter over to the commissioners as a recommendation, or do we wait until you have both names before we do that? What typically we will send a letter saying
We
you
recommend.
recommend such and such, and then they have their meeting, discuss it, and they'll appoint that person at that meeting. We've never really
Gave them
had,
options.
yeah. Yeah, we just never had.
And that, well, I
that
hope we're gonna get
access like
options.
that, so.
I feel like we can go ahead and move with that letter, and then we can tell the commissioners, or there potentially could be a second name for consideration, but
Okay.
but I would go ahead and get that ball rolling. Because they don't necessarily need to put it, we don't know when they're gonna put it on their agenda.
Well, we usually ask them to at their next meeting, but
Do we?
otherwise we'll just wait and not send a letter.
Well, let's
Do
just
that.
go ahead then. No, let's do that.
I think their next meeting's the 16th.
Or this month.
Yes, if they get warned up.
Yeah, we'll get one before then, and then we can call the board and.
Sure.
Okay, so if,
Yeah.
so
Just
we'll
go
have it
ahead,
on the
yeah.
26th, on the 16th agenda. Okay, and then, if they do the appointment, then they'll be giving us enough time to get all the paperwork done for him to his oath, so he'll be here for the June meeting.
Yeah.
So, okay,
And
perfect.
do we know, are we gonna have a June meeting?
As of right now, no.
Okay,
So
Um,
far, I do have a question. So do we gather all his information for them to contact him or,
No, that's something we'll do, yeah,
okay,
I can,
Once
I'll help
he's
you with that.
approved.
okay.
Mhm. As of right now, no, the deadline's Tuesday. Tuesday at noon, next week, right?
The
Yeah.
14th, yeah.
Mhm. So far, we don't have anything on the agenda for June.
okay. Well, we'll move on to new business. Terrence Whitehead,
Yep,
you're here?
yep, I'm here.
All right, do you have your cards?
Yes. I got all the returns too, surprisingly.
Okay, good. All righty. And, you wanna, while we're going through these, do you wanna just kind of tell us in your own words what you're asking and what you're wanting?
Yeah, we are adding a sunroom, we're wanting to add a sunroom to the west side of our house. Which is a small ranch style house on Harts Gravel Road. We're next to the last house on the road. So it's a pretty untraveled road, it's a dead end road. And that's basically it.
Yeah.
It is closer than what, the reason we're applying for the variance is it's closer to the road than what. The code allows.
How close?
I think it's like, I don't know, it's in the paperwork, it's like a little bit over 50 feet, and I think it's like 70 or 80 feet. But the original house is, we're not gonna come out any farther than the original house. It's gonna stay even, the sunroom is gonna be even with the original house, so it's not, the existing structure is not gonna get any closer to the roads than what it is now. So,
Do it.
Yeah. Any questions real quick from anybody from the board? We, received a letter from, someone who's disputing are you familiar with the letter? Or any?
I'm not familiar with it, but I have a feeling I know who it is because he's upset because there's an existing structure. That he's turned in something. We haven't owned this property for very long. And I did talk, I don't know, I would say this, yeah, that's it. I can see it sits on my property. That's a totally different issue though. And I did go and talk to this neighbor, try to be as nice as I can to him. But my thing is, why didn't he say something about this before we purchased the property? Because we purchased the property, we got title insurance. There was no issues on the property. We purchased the property and then not even a year later, he came up to me and there's this little thing sticking out. It's almost like a cargo trailer that the people that lived there before added on this garage. It doesn't go over his property line, but it sits probably within 4 feet of his property line. Well, him and the previous owner had some issues. I guess the guy burnt down a tree and stuff. But anyways, I'm doing whatever I can to make him happy. I would even take that down. My thing was with him was, hey, you should have put something in with the county. That way it'd be there the next time it's sold. Then maybe something can be done about it. I just haven't done anything about it, but that's exactly what he's saying here. That's the shed he's talking about. So the thing about this property owner is, just so you know, the side that we're going out on isn't toward his property. It's all the way on the other side. So this guy owns property on the east side of the property. We're wanting to add on the west side of the house. So it's got nothing to do with that. Now, I don't know how you guys want to handle the existing issue. I don't know if I have to move that.
You want to read that letter on there,
It's,
on record?
yeah, we can. Do you think that's what we need to?
Okay, sure.
This property does not have a septic permit. The house has or was built without approval. Do you know anything?
Don't know anything about, like I said, when we purchased the property, we went through a reputable realtor and we went through, we got title insurance and all that, and there was nothing on the house that caused any sort of issue as far as purchasing it, so I don't know what he's talking about. That house has been there, I would say, I don't know what year it was built, but I would assume pre-1980s. It's a ranch style house, and there's a lot of existing structures that are probably older than that on the property.
I did go and do some research on that. I called the health department. Said in 1991 that there was a permit pulled. Is number 54-91. And that they never had any final inspections on the septic system. So as far as the health department was concerned, there never has been one installed from their stand on it. And as far as building permits, I would need a year to find it. An exact year when it was built. I wasn't able to find anything on any record of that. Not saying that there's definitely not, but I wasn't able to find one.
So when you purchase a place like this, when you go through the title insurance company and all that, wouldn't it bring something up? I mean, if there was an
It would-
issue before you purchased the house,
It would only pertain to, if you had like a mortgage and inspections and appraisals done, those things would have came up, but as far as title insurance, if you purchased it cash, they're just looking at the land, and if there wasn't a survey, they would not even look to see if your buildings went over the survey or the property line, because they're just selling from the ground down.
okay.
That's what they're insuring. They're insuring the chain of title, not what's in there.
But you don't have any issues with your septic, so it does have a septic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm living there. We've been there I actually moved my parents in there first. And then we got them another place, and then me and my wife moved in there, but no, we've not had any issues with the septic and. What the addition that we're adding on is not gonna add any fixtures or bedrooms, it's just a sunroom. Has nothing to do with adding any load to the septic system. You know, when you size a septic system, I am a licensed septic installer. And I'm a licensed plumber too, for the state of Indiana and Ohio. And when you size a septic system, you size it by the bedroom.
Right.
So we're not adding any bedrooms to it, so as far as the septic permit goes, I don't see what that's got to do with. You know, what I'm here for.
Is that what you're?
Health department, health department enforces septic. I mean, that's what Josh, went and looked at the permits for the health department. So I mean, to the extent that there's, violation of septic, that would be the health department that would be investigating. Now, I mean, to the extent that this board, does frequently say that, that any, especially approving a building permit, that building permits would have to be compliant with all other local and state law. That's a pretty frequent condition. It's been especially on special exceptions. But yeah, I mean, this board doesn't enforce health code.
And again, I do want to reiterate that we're not adding any fixtures or bedrooms. It's just the sunroom. It has nothing to do with the existing septic system that was there. So.
Okay, I'll keep going here. Went to the commissioners meetings over and over, nothing that was done. They did say house could not add on or build other structures. But not the commissioners.
And the only reason we had to pull a permit, we called the permit office. We want to do everything right. I pull permits when we do work. But, the only reason we had to pull a permit, this is basically just a sunroom. And, the thing that made us had to get a permit for it was because we put a roof on it, I believe. As soon as we added a roof.
To the place.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we added the roof to it, if we would have done like a deck, that would have been different if I
We
understood.
do not permit decks, but as far as additional square footage to the house, we do permit. Yes.
Right, right.
Which threw it in that it's set 40 some feet off the road, which is what he's saying, the full variance.
It's the variances for that, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the variances. So that's the variance from developmental standards with regard to the setback. But then in addition to that, it's also a non-conforming property currently, is that right? Lynette?
Mhm.
And the basis of the non-conforming on this one is the size of the property?
It's the structure. If the lot is non-conforming, but if he could have met the setbacks, it'd still been fine, because non-conforming is still okay.
Right.
But it's when he couldn't meet the setback, then they made the structure non-conforming on the lot. They're both non-conforming.
Right.
But he applied for a variance of use for the structure.
Right.
And a variance for developmental standards for the addition.
Because the variance from use is because the structure is sitting on non-conforming lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today, we would, under the current UDO, if there was no house on the property, then the property is not conforming to have a building permit issued for a house, right?
Right, and so they would need to, they come and ask for variance to put the house on it, yeah.
Okay. We'll keep moving through this, since they,
See, another thing I
Yeah.
want to show you, this is the thing attached to that letter. Everyone knows that when you look at the GIS online, that this property line is not right. See this shed here?
yes,
He's saying that that's sticking on his property. It is not, okay? This property line goes about 4 feet from the edge of this shed, just so you all know.
so did you have it surveyed?
I did not have it surveyed, but the old fence is there. If I need to get it surveyed, I will.
But that's not
I'm
for this permit, so that shouldn't,
It's got nothing to do with me getting the permit and survey, but if I need to get this surveyed, because I would like to put this to bed, because this, I
I
don't
would
think Scott,
recommend that it sounds.
I don't think Scott understands that when you look at a GIS map, these lines are not necessarily true. And he's upset because it shows on GIS that whole structure is sitting over on his property, and it's not. There's obvious old fence post, and we've had other properties surveyed. I'll just get it surveyed. I mean, it wouldn't cost that. It's only an acre, a little over an acre, so.
Yeah, but fences could be off also. you
Yeah, I
know,
get-
Cause
I
people
get it.
build fences sometimes what's easiest to do, not necessarily by the line, so that might help both of you
Right,
in this situation.
County doesn't dispute. property line
No, that's
issues
civil.
anyway.
Yeah,
I
it's
told
civil.
Mr. Scott that in the past.
okay.
Okay, so you've had addressed that with him, you've addressed that with him.
Yeah, property line's civil issue, either trespass or adverse possession or those type of claims, quiet title.
So that. And then, let's see, the mud room and garage and a garage. Add-on, only one garage had a permit. They have even added to a shed to the garage sits on my property.
All that paragraph there is way probably 10 years
It's
ago.
not even, it's
And we've
a
only-
separate garage,
We
it's not
only had
attached to
property
this.
for maybe 2 or 3 years.
And it's not attached to this building, the house, correct? It's not
What's
attached
that?
garage,
No, the garage is,
it's a
Yeah.
separate building.
it's now the
It's the one
garage,
over
yeah,
here,
the garage is the one over toward Scott's property.
so there's not an attached garage to this house.
No, and I'm not really sure what he's talking about as far as there's a garage.
And then
And then he says, let's see, 2 porches. I'm not really sure what he's talking about there. And the mudroom, maybe there is a mudroom that comes off the house, but again, that's been there for years. I knew the previous property owner, which is deceased now, Herman, used to own that property. That's who we bought it off of. I don't know who the guy that he references in here is, Woodburn. I never knew Tom Woodburn as far as, but there were some obvious, with Scott's lived here for a long time on this road. And he's obviously had some real issues with neighbors. He references that here. The fence is gone. I didn't take any fence down. I didn't add anything to this property. I've never added anything to it. So all these issues that Scott's talking about here is previous owners.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I'm not aware of any of them. I don't even agree with some of them. It seems like there's a lot.
And just for a record, my original property fence was tore down when Tom on Woodburn owned it. And was split cost of a new fence and it is gone now. And I am a firm no and protest this application.
Yeah, and that fence, like I said, I've never seen that fence. That was something I'm really not sure why he didn't bring this up before I bought the property. You know, I don't know if you guys have anything on record of any other complaints, but the first I ever heard of Scott being agitated about anything was when he turned in something about a year ago. And that's when I actually went to his house and talked to him and said, hey, Scott, what's up? You know, and, I told him that I thought that the property line was 4 feet from the shed. And since that was there before I bought it, that I really didn't want to move it, but I didn't want him to be pissed at me either.
Right.
You know, he's my neighbor. And I believe I even offered, hey, if you want to split the survey, let's get it surveyed. And there was no go. So, but I have not taken any fences out, not added any structure since I've been there. And all of them to me look like they look consistent with the age of the house. I'm not sure when the garage is built, but it's not no new garage, I can tell you that.
Right. Josh, you got anything else you could think of that could add or take away to this?
No, I think that's about all the things I found.
Well, like Pat said, I think if he has a permit or a septic issue, he has to go to the health department.
And if we have any septic issues, like I said, I'm a licensed installer in Henry County and in a couple other counties up north of here.
Mhm.
And I mean, if we have a problem with our septic system, we would gladly address it, but we don't have any issues at all. And I'm an environmentalist of sorts, I appreciate, that's why I live out there. And I go out and look at the creek, I look for pipes, we've ran sewer cameras. We've never had any issues with the septic system out there though, so.
Any other questions or board, do you have anything, Jenny, or?
Are you meeting the setbacks on the side on the west line where you're adding? Is that
No,
where you're
not the
adding?
west side, it would be the setback issue is the one toward the road. See, here's the house.
You're
and-
adding on to the west side?
Yeah,
of
we're
the house?
coming to the west side. It's like 15 feet. It's in the paperwork, but we're just coming west. We are not going any closer to the road than what the existing structure is. It's gonna be flush in the front of the building. So yes, it's coming this way, but no, we don't need a setback this way. It's the road is the issue. I think the center of the road was like 51 or 56 feet. And I think is it 80?
80 is what it should be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 80.
It's,
20, is it 20 on the side
it's 20 on the side.
For primary, because it's 5 for accessory.
Right.
Do you have a
It's
sketch?
20 on the side for.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a sketch of how you're, because I know
Well-
this is a drop off. So I'm curious really how much land you currently have up here. That's my concern,
I don't.
because I know this is kind of a creek and a drop off area, so your buildable is only up there.
What are you asking as far as a sketch?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, normally we get like a sketch kind of showing where
Mhm.
people's, the setbacks on each side of the property or where the building's gonna be built at. I didn't know if you had one or.
I thought that, I had my builder. Who's Lynette?
I am.
You are, okay. Lynette's who I talked to. I thought I sent Lynette all the information. But I had my builder meet with her the first time and he got her all the information. I mean, I can draw on here where that's going. I don't think that'd be that helpful. It's basically coming straight off this side.
Yeah, I don't have a
We could-
plan or a drawing, but do you know how far off you are on that west side? Are you 20 feet or more?
As far as the property line,
Yeah, like when you add on
I-
your sunroom, from
I
your
could-
sunroom to the
I
side.
couldn't say to that. It's a pretty. I was thinking it was like 30 some feet, but we looked at that and you told me what the setback was. Once, cause I wrote it down.
Mhm.
He's
Um,
56 now. From this green line
Yeah, I
to the
think
edge of his
he's-
house.
Yeah. from
So
the
he's
center
gonna
road
be,
to the
just
50.
looking, he ought to be more than 50. That looks further to that line than it is to this.
Yeah, I don't think the west side was an issue.
How,
Our issue
how
was
wide-
the
what
80
is-
feet.
what's the what are you building? What's the square?
It's a sunroom.
Right.
We do have that. She's got that. It's,
20 by 20,
yeah,
24.
24.
it's 240 inches by 288 inches. So the 240 is the side going toward the west, so that's the short side. So the house is evidently 288 inches wide, and then we're going out 240 inches, which I think is 120, that's.
If the
About
line
28
goes
feet.
below GIS, looks like there's another 28 feet past the, he says 24 feet, your addition.
No, it's not 24, it's, what I say, it was, 240 inches, there's 120 and 10 feet, so that's 20 feet.
Okay, so I pulled 24 and then I went from that and it was 28 feet more, so maybe 30 feet.
30
There's
feet,
30 feet after the new addition, there'll be an extra 30 feet, so he's at least 10 extra feet. there.
from
Right, so it looks like there's plenty of room there to meet setbacks on that, on the west side.
and the neighbor that's complaining is over here. On
Yeah,
the far other
he's clear
side.
on the other side, yeah. And he doesn't own any property, he doesn't even own.
He doesn't
any
wrap
property.
you or
He
anything.
doesn't wrap around at all.
He's just on one,
He's all the way over, he owns only the east property line,
okay,
If his house is, what, a quarter mile?
a quarter mile down the road, yeah.
Probably on the opposite, on the north side of the road.
oh, on the north.
His property is,
Quarter mile back this way on the
Okay,
corner.
so he's not got another small lot right beside him or anything,
Right, he owns this
No.
property here.
okay.
and Steve Bowles, my other neighbor, he got the letter when he got them, and he actually drove over to my house. Cause he kind of thought there would be a problem with one of my neighbors. He told me he'd be willing to come down here and talk to you guys and talk about how we've done nothing but fix the place up. It was a dump when we bought it. And we've cleaned out fence rows, we've cleaned up trash. There was a big pile of dirt that the guy that lived there before shot into that was full of lead. We had brought in an excavator, dug all that out, hauled it off. So Steve Bowles, the other neighbor, which is one of the three, said that he would come down and be a proponent if I had any issues. But I think this is kind of a one-shot deal, so. I mean,
Okay. Anything else, guys? What do we have to do?
There's two findings.
Two findings of facts for each. Okay.
Yeah, you'd use you do use variance first, and the variance from development standards.
No, we're the next one.
We're ready, guys? Jenny, do you have more? You got any questions?
So this is the findings of fact for variance of use. The Board of Zoning Appeals, having heard the testimony and being duly advised, finds A, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. True or false?
True.
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 B, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. True or false?
True.
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Jenny. C, the need for the variance arises from the need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. True or false?
True.
True. D, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. True or false?
True.
And E, the approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan. True or false?
True.
True. Do you have any conditions on the use?
Any conditions, guys?
No. Do they, do
Do
we need,
do we do them all at the end, or do we want to make
No,
a
good,
motion
good.
for each one?
For each one, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you've gone through the conditions, or you've gone through the steps of the use variance, so then, yeah, you'd call for a vote on the use variance.
So I'll make a motion to, accept the variance, right?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Yes. Okay, so this is the findings of fact for the developmental standards, which is the front setback that you can't meet. The Board of Zoning Appeals, having heard the testimony and being duly advised, finds A, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. True or false? True. B, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. True or false?
True.
And C, the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. True or false?
True. Any conditions to this variance? Okay, need a motion.
The, accept the variance.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? You just need to get with Sarah. To get your permit and what have you, but. Sounds like you might want to look into that septic,
Okay,
just to get ahead of a problem probably
okay,
from your neighbor.
okay. I mean, what can he do as far as, I mean, what would be the issues with that?
You don't have a permit,
Okay,
you never got approved. I think I just between the health department and you.
so I just need to go talk to the health department and see what that means,
That's
if
right.
he's complaining about it. I know it's got a septic tank and I know it's got a septic system because I've walked the whole creek to make sure it didn't go right out into the creek.
But I
So
would,
it's gotta have something.
I'd get ahead of this and
Okay.
probably go talk to them.
What about this property line issue he's talking about? What, any advice on that?
That's a civil issue. I mean, you talk to an attorney. but
Right, I know it's a
issue.
civil issue, but I mean,
Survey will
typical
answer a
for-
lot of
is it-
questions.
is it typical for property owners to split the price of the survey? I mean, if it's an issue,
I mean, that'd be by agreement. That would just be
Yeah.
whether or not the parties agree to do that. I don't know.
It happens all different ways.
Yeah.
There's no rule.
takes wisdom, right?
There's no rule.
Good fence makes good neighbors.
Okay.
Once we get all the paperwork,
As long as it's in the right spot.
once we get all the paperwork signed and stuff tonight, can we go ahead and just email those to you, or do you rather have?
No, you can email them to me, so you're gonna email me paperwork and then I can go to Sarah?
Sarah's taking my
I'm-
place,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, she's
Sarah-
taking her.
Yeah,
place.
she's replacing me, and so, but she's not sat in on a meeting, which is a
Okay.
lot taken, so I'm helping show her the ropes on that. So, yes, typically when we have, when your application is, approved, I usually ask if it's okay to email it, or
that's
would you rather
great. That's
mail
preferred,
it? Okay.
yes.
And so when you're ready for a building permit, then you get a hold of Josh,
Okay.
and he'll set you up.
So you'll email me then with directions and then we can get a permit. Is that something we can do like for
You're,
you?
you're already approved. You're,
Okay.
as far as placing it there, that this is approved, you don't have to get a permit from us. We're gonna send you the approved paperwork, to
Okay,
nice paperwork.
okay,
But before you build, you'll have to get with Josh and he'll get you a building permit.
okay.
So don't start digging or
Oh, we
building until you get Josh.
Yes, I don't want Josh out there.
Okay.
He's the only person that's ever said that.
Yeah, I like the honesty.
So am I finished then?
Yeah, so you're good to go.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, are you guys up next?
Yeah.
All righty.
I'm gonna be quick.
Okay, you have your card.
Yep.
Okay. while we're going through the cards, why don't you just kind of tell us what you got going on and
I'm just wanting to put a small 2-chair salon at my house out in Kent. Our house shares a property line with an already established business, and we're diagonal from a church, like across the road, and yeah, that's it. Just gonna be me in there, and appointment only, Monday through Friday. Some Mondays, if necessary. Tuesday through Friday, really. Limited hours. I'm on the road now. Yes. I am the first house on the right, so no heavy traffic, so my neighbors down the street won't be affected. We'll be closed on Sunday, so everybody can have the rest.
Jenny, do you want to verify? What is it? Let's verify from the list that was wrong. That they all got returned, or got turned in.
is there anyone that wants to speak against this or for it?
I can go for it if it matters. I
You
I
can,
know.
you don't have to.
My name's Cassandra Mikesell. Hello. I don't share a property line. I'm not diagonal, but I am in the neighborhood less than a mile away. And I don't see any way that this would impede any kind of peace, rest, enjoyment of any property or surrounding property owners.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah. they're okay.
I know. What was that? What's the line?
What we guys, everybody good? Wanna need a little more time?
Or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer to the best of my ability. Need to make a control right now. And give you a phone number, text.
We didn't get anything from neighbors. Okay. I guess we're ready.
Okay. The Board of Zoning Appeals, having reviewed the particular facts and circumstances of the proposed use, now finds adequate evidence showing that such use at the proposed location is the establishment, maintenance, or operation of special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. True or false?
Sure.
B, the special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. True or false?
Sure.
C, the establishment of the special exception will not impede or substantially alter the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. True or false?
Sure.
D, adequate utilities, access road, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. True or false?
Sure.
E, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion on the public roadways. True or false?
Sure.
And F, the special exception will be located in the district where such use is permitted and all requirements set forth in this UDO that are applicable to such use will be met. True or false?
Sure. Any conditions or special exceptions? Jenny,
I don't have any.
any motion?
I make a motion, we approve the special exception.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
So you'll have to get, you want to have the email or how you?
Yeah,
wanna-
can I email this or have Sarah email it to you? Okay, and then when you're ready to start your building, just get hold of Josh.
I already did.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
If there's no other business, we'll, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
There we go. All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed?